So far, this episode has been a complete disaster. Trying out a new streaming service, and I've come to the conclusion that they suck. Uh, but so I'm back over here on Restream, the one I've been using. Now I have to try and reconfigure my setup here. So can't spend all afternoon trying to get this thing working. So I went back to what I knew worked. So I hope everybody is having a good weekend. We are going to kick it off. No, you can't hear it, but here we go. Hey, stoners. I hope you're having a good day. Today is a good day and a sad day. Number one, like I just said a minute ago, let me adjust my microphone. Like I said a minute ago, well, to the folks on live stream, they've been very patient if there's anybody there, uh, because I was trying a new streaming service out and it was a complete disaster from start to finish. So I'm gonna have to play with that some more before next week's episode, see if I can get this thing operating, because it will give me the opportunity to live stream on Instagram, which my current service does not, but my current service actually works. So there's that. But it's also a good day and a sad day because I'm bringing what I think is going to be an exceptional pairing. That's very good. Uh, but the sad, alas, this is the last of the Whiskey Row series from Old Forester. And I am going to submit for your approval Old Forester 1897. And show that to the folks on live stream with Drew Estates Nica Rustica. I think it is going to be an excellent pairing. So we are going to go ahead and pop the cork, cut the stick, and get to toasting. Now, the Old Forester 1897 is a bottled in bond offering. It's actually, you know, the series Whiskey Row is 1897, 1910, and 1920. But this was actually the second of the series. So they didn't exactly do it in year order. And, you know, so if you're OCD, it may mess you up a little bit. Um, but this small batch expression, it is lightly filtered, kind of in the old world style, reminiscent of the 19th century bourbon, with, you know, rich and bold character. The 1897 kind of pays homage to the year that the Bottled and Bond Act was passed, 1897, while the bourbon itself pays tribute to the historical bottled and bond bourbon Old Forester actually produced at the time of the act. And Brown Foreman, who owns Old Forester, intends for this to be a permanent addition. So it is a straight bourbon. As I said, it's the Brown Foreman distillery, actually the Shively distillery to be specific. It is an ongoing release. Now, this particular offering is 100 proof, 50% alcohol by volume. It is aged for 4 years. And now all of this Whiskey Row series had the same mash bill. It was the difference in the aging and the bottling blends in the barrels and that kind of thing. But the mash bill itself on all three was 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. Let's go ahead and glass up some of this. Love that sound. It's like one of the best sounds in the world. Along with this one. Glug, 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 glug. All right, for those of you on live stream, I'll hold it up there for you. Give it a little swirl in the glass. As the others have been, this is a beautiful mahogany, kind of deep amber color with a little bit of a reddish hue to it. Uh, I think it actually may have the best legs of the three. Could be. It's got some really great legs on it. On the nose. I get some really crisp fruit notes, along with a very nice kind of floral essence there, along with some really nice oaky elements, and an ever so slight alcohol burn in the nose. But now for the palate. That is a really great mix of sweet and spicy, kind of a dark fruits along the lines of plums or some other dark stone fruits like that come first prominently. Then you get some kind of hints of caramel and vanilla, and then just kind of the perfect touch of oak. I don't really like an overpowering oak. That's just my personal style. I know there's been some out there. I don't mention names, but they've talked about like devil share, yes, stuff like that. And I mean, it's really like somebody like ground up some oak into a fine powder and then mixed it up, and that's what you're drinking. That's not really my thing. I like more subtle flavors and everything kind of melding together, as opposed to just boom oak, So anyway, it has a very nice mouthfeel. It's very well rounded and very balanced. And as I said, it's got a really great blend of sweet and spicy. Go ahead and try another sip. Gave that a little extra wash around the tongue. I mean, that is this. I don't know. It could be the best of the three. The other two were really good. But I really like this. Now, it has a longer finish on it than the 1910 or the 1920. Um, and the finish has got a nice sweetness with some baking spices and then just a little bit of peppery spice there too. You get a little pepper on the front of your tongue. Um, but I just keep going back to it's very well balanced and it's very smooth, especially for the high proof. That is a really good spirit. Really good. Now, onto the stick. I love Drew Estate cigars. I have tried many, although I have not tried all. Um, this particular is, as I said before, the Drew Estate Nica Rustica. It is a Nicaraguan cigar in La Gran Fabrica, Drew Estate. It is a blend of Nicaraguan, Esteli, and Jalapa long fillers. The binder is a San Andres Negro. Now, you see a lot of San Andres wrappers. I think this is the only one, I may have tried one other one before, that they use the San Andres underneath. So we'll see how that works out. Um, and then the wrapper is a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro. Now this is they call this a short Robusto. It's a 4.5 by 50. Visually, as those of you on live stream can probably tell, this does have a very rough wrapper. It is meant to be to look like it was just rolled in somebody's back porch or something like that. It has purposeful imperfections on it, including a very rough pigtail up on the cap, and it has a closed foot as opposed to being able to see the filler tobacco that's in it. It is a deep and rich dark chocolate brown, probably one of the darkest I've smoked. And again, it does have a rough feel to it. It has moderate veining. The veining that's there is pretty prominent, but there's not much of it. It's got very tight yet visible seams, and it also has, it not only has a mid band, it has a foot band, which I'm removing right now. So I am going to give this a cut, and then we'll take a gander at the nose and the cold draw. I am using my Cassetti multi-cutter on the V-cut and on the nose. I get a really nice sweetness. There's some very rich barnyard sort of aromas in there with a little bit of notes of like cocoa and a little nuttiness. All right, let's test out the cold draw. Surprisingly, with the closed foot, the cold draw is still very easy. I get something along the lines of a cocoa to milk chocolate. Not really one, but not really the other. Kind of transitioning from one to the other. That's the predominant note. And then I also get a little bit of rich tobacco, but it is really almost completely drowned out by the cocoa and or chocolate, wherever it kind of lands in there. All right, let's light her up. Rocky Patel, Envoy, 5 torch. You're gonna do it. Do it right, go all the way. For those that may be new to cigars, you can see how far I'm holding the lighter away from the stick. You don't want to burn it up. And once I put the cigar in my mouth, I hold the lighter where the stick is not touching the flame, but then as I draw through the cigar, it pulls the flame to the cigar and allows it to touch, but then I feel like I have more control. Really nice smoke output. I smoked one of these the other day when I took Sadie for a walk, my 90-pound Shetland Pony Lab. And this was a perfect smoke to just take out on a walk. We walked like, oh, it's about a half a mile, our little trek. And by the time I got back, it was done. But great smoke output. I get a little more cocoa. I do get some hints of cashews, kind of that rich. I love cashews. It's not quite as dry as the almonds or peanuts. It's a little richer. And then I also get a nice little earthiness. And I pick up a little oak on the retro. For those that are new to cigars, retro, when you take the smoke in your mouth and then you adjust your tongue and you actually exhale through your nose, the smoke goes up and comes out your nose, and you will pick up some other flavors or aromas, however you want to classify them. Your olfactory is very, very connected to your palate. You'll pick up some different things. And that one had a real nice oakiness to it. And then just maybe a little bit of pepper. Let's try them together. Now, together, the experience really kind of becomes a little more memorable. The Nika Rustica it's a bold and flavorful smoke, even though it is not overly complex. and it exemplifies Nicaraguan and what Drew Estate is known for, with the rich tobacco leaves, the expert craftsmanship, and just a wonderful experience. The hints of kind of the earthiness and spice and chocolate kind of lends perfectly to the kind of sweet and smoky notes. There's a little bit of char in most, and so that gives it just a little underlying smokiness, and it really accentuates the Old Forester 1897. Wow, these are really going very well together. Uh, for those of you listening on the podcast, I am going to go ahead and burn this down to the halfway mark, and then I will come back and give you folks an update. For those of you on live stream, I'll be hanging with you for a little bit longer. All right, now it's just us. I was really disappointed with the other live streaming platform. I won't talk about them because I may still, if I can get it. Some of it is probably my lack of technical expertise in these areas. Once I have this thing completely ironed out, I may have to do like some other people have done and go out and create a training program for prospective podcasters. Uh, there's a lot goes into it that you don't really think about. You can go just really simple. And this is my iPhone up here, uh, and that's where I'm live streaming. But then what you don't see is my iPad where I have my notes, because I can't remember everything that I need to say. And then I also have my PodTrack 8 soundboard, where I record the audio, and then that's what shows up on the podcast on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts. I think Google Podcast is now gone. Uh, iHeartRadio Podcast and Sprecher. I really love Sprecher. They are. It is actually now, even though I still do upload my podcast to Podbean, Sprecher is now my main podcast platform. I like their setup a lot better, and I get better opportunities for monetization. So this is a very easy drawing cigar. Uh, I'm just constantly amazed at what Drew Estate can produce. I mean, Mr. Drew is an eccentric personality, but he can make some good cigars. This is not. I mean, this is not one of his infused acid things. This is straight tobacco, no weird fillers or anything like that, and it is an excellent smoke and goes perfectly with this Old Forester 1897. Like I said earlier, the kind of sweet and spicy palate profiles that are in the stick marry perfectly with the sweet and the smoky / spicy palate on the Old Forester. This Old Forester, it may be the best of the whiskey row line. It really may be. Beautiful little stacks of light gray, almost white ash. Impeccable construction. Uh, Drew is known for his, even though the stick is very rough looking, impeccable construction. Now, I smoked one of the longer vitolas in this stick. I think it was a Bellicoso, something like that, 6x52 maybe. Uh, Same thing, huge smoke output, wonderful flavors on the palate. Uh, Even though it looks like it got, like I said, rolled on somebody's back porch, uh, it is an excellent cigar and a perfect match for the Old Forester 1897. And I really love the the little notes of cashew that that come through uh, on the stick. Um, it really does kind of give you a rich flavor, I guess you'd say. Like I said, I like. Uh, I don't have to worry about being too close to the mic because those folks are turned off. Um, I really do like the way the cashew gives you enough oiliness. I like macadamia nuts, but they're almost too oily. And like the Brazil nut, I don't know, I won't even eat something like that. So, no, back to what I was saying about the podcasting thing. I mean, it's, and it would be really, really hard for me to try and show you without screwing everything up. What all's going into it. I got my phone. My phone is on a camera tripod that has a special attachment to keep the phone on it. Um, and then right below that, I have my iPad with my notes. Then in front of me, I have a panel of, it's a small panel that's on a stand that does kind of cut some of the bubbling water from the No Shoes Bar and Grill pool and spa. Uh, I know you can still hear it, but it does cut it down a little bit. Trust me. Uh, and then my soundboard, and then I don't just rely on the phone's microphone. I have a clip-on lavalier, something like that. Crazy French word, and it's married up by Bluetooth to my phone so that it doesn't sound like I'm 6 feet away. Yeah, there's just a lot goes into it, and then you all this going to social media, you have to be on all of them. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, and trying to find some place that you can do one thing and go to all of those at the same time. Most of my uh, posts I do in a service called Buffer, and then I have the social medias linked to it. So I make one post and it sends it to all of them. That's really great. But there's just a lot to try and take care of to run something like this. So, but it's fun. I enjoy it. I really do. And I really enjoy this part of it. All right. See, we've gotten a few more people to join in. So you probably haven't heard anything so far. You can see nice stack smash. Um, the Drew Estate Nica Rustica is a very rough looking cigar. Uh, it's got some sweetness and some barnyard on the aroma with some nice hints of cocoa and nuts. Uh, then you have cocoa to milk chocolate. It kind of splits a dividing line in there somewhere where you get a little bit of each. It's kind of hard to decipher exactly if it's cocoa or milk chocolate, but nice chocolate notes. That's the predominant note on the cold draw with just a little bit of rich tobacco, but this cocoa chocolate kind of combination pretty much drowns it out. As you have probably seen with me smoking it, got some really great smoke output, and I get more cocoa and some cashews and some earth in the on the palate. Um, the Old Forester 1897. It is a really great mix of sweet and spicy. You get first and predominantly you get like stone fruits like plums or dark cherries, something like that. And then you get some hints of caramel and vanilla and just the right amount of oak, just enough to let you know it's there, but not be too overpowering. And it's got a really, really great mouthfeel to it. I think it could be one of the best or the best of the three in the Whiskey Row series. And to be 100 proof, it is a very smooth and easy drinking spirit. It's got a really long finish to it, longer than the 1910 or the 1920. Nice sweetness, some baking spices, a little bit of pepper on the front of your tongue, and it's very well balanced and smooth, especially for 100 proof. Now, a little wavy, not bad. Still holding the ash. I'm afraid I'm going to drop it in my lap at any moment. I don't want to burn any holes in my Freedom Fatigues Come and Take It shirt. If you haven't been by Freedom Fatigues, you need to go to our website, sticksandstones.com, all one word, sticksandstones.com, and click on Freedom Fatigues little icon there. Some wonderful clothing, all made in the USA, veteran owned and operated. Got to support our veterans. I'm one. So it has started to get a little lean to it. Definitely smoked a lot worse, but this kind of ash, that shows you a very well constructed cigar. And the smoke output has not diminished. It is almost a smoke monster. Pretty close. It's really good. Wish y'all were here. Still getting a little bit of pepper and a little more oak or wood in the retro on the Nika Rustica. I hate to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and tap this off because I don't want it falling in my lap and then I end up cursing on camera. So I'm going to join the other folks back in because we're at about the halfway mark. So I think it's time to give those folks an update. So all right, here we go. Hey, stoners, I am back. As we get to the halfway mark, the stick has brought in some caramel and some kind of deep spice notes to add to the cocoa and the cashews in the stick. It does help create a richer connection to the 1897 with its fruit and caramel and vanilla. I mean, really, as you sit back and you enjoy your glass of Old Forester in one hand and your Nika Rustica in the other hand, just really take a moment to savor the the beauty of this classic combination. And we're going to take 10 seconds and do that right now. I mean, really, it transports you to another time and place where life just moves at a different speed, at a slower pace. Every moment was savored. Uh, this pairing, this is what pairing cigars and spirits is all about. It's about the journey, and each pairing is a journey. It may start somewhere and end somewhere completely different, or it may stay consistent. That's one of the tricks to doing this, not specifically doing this as a podcast, but just indulging in cigars and prime spirits. Um, this has been a really enjoyable uh, pairing thus far. But I am going to go ahead and burn this down the rest of the way, and then I will come back and give you an update. Hmm. And I had really intended, since I was going to be streaming through my laptop with the service I was trying out, and then I had to call an audible and go back to my old stuff. I hadn't even got. I usually try and take a picture of my setup here, the cigar burning, and I hadn't even been able to do that because I had to call an audible. Apparently, not everybody was happy about it. And it is just, I mean, the caramel and the vanilla and the cashews, all of those things kind of blending together, just really make for an enjoyable. This is probably a little shorter. Uh, we've been running now for about a half hour on the live stream, and I probably don't have much left. Uh, where normally you're going to invest an hour, maybe an hour 15, depending on the length of the stick and how fast it burns. But this one, it's one of those that it's not going to be long enough. Sorry, that's my Shetland pony. Hey, working over here, working. Glad that's not going to be on the podcast. And if you've been listening to the podcast, let me know. Sadie, please. She has a little dog run around at the side of the house. But she has a collar that we have an automatic dog door. So when she gets close to it, the door will open. So she can let herself out into the little dog run. And it's about 20 feet around to where that fence is. So, hey, this is what you have to work with when you're live. Now, I will say, I'd have to go back and look. That's why I have to have notes, and I can't remember all this stuff. Uh, I think this might actually be my favorite of the three Whiskey Row in the Whiskey Row series for Old Forester. But this does have a little bit more peppery burn to it. It's 100 proof. Uh, it's one of those things where this may be your favorite, but there's still things about it that aren't as appreciated. But in one of the other bottles, it is not that way, and you appreciate that part. I have loved all three of these spirits. This Whiskey Row series is the first time I've ever tried Old Forester, uh, and it's a very good spirit. I'm definitely going to want to try some others and see how they are. Old Forester is putting out some pretty good products, or Brown Foreman, and Jonathan Drew, man, he's got to be up there. I know he hadn't, comparatively speaking, to you know Punch, Cohiba, Padron. He hadn't been around as long, but I think he's done equally well in what he's accomplished. Uh, and I think he has, while the older, more legacy brands have, their upside is not much higher because they've done so much, they've been around so long. I still think he's got a lot of a lot of upside there. That is not in any way diminishing those brands. I love those brands. Probably one of my favorite cigars is the Padron 1964. It's an excellent, excellent cigar. I love to smoke it. Uh, you know, but you have to kind of weigh everybody, you know. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of people that doesn't like some of the things Jonathan's done with, the acid lines and then whatever little magic he puts into those sticks. And then he did the Java line with Rocky. And I love the Java cigars. The coffee infused cigars are my favorite cigars, period. Uh, it doesn't really matter if you're talking about Tabaki Special or Java or even, I think it's Thompson that they put out their own, you know, unbranded sticks. They don't even have any bands on them that are coffee infused. I love them all. They've got that nice sweet to them. They've got that little bit of coffee to it. And I like coffee. I don't love coffee. And that's just enough in there. And I'd really like to try. I see Rafael Nodal on Instagram. He's constantly posting, like early morning cigar with coffee. And I don't ever do that. I really should. Uh, I'll get there one day, I'm sure. Yeah, I commented on one of his posts today, and it was one of those like early morning, whatever beach he was on. I think it's in the Dominican, was completely empty. Sun was just coming up, and he's out there. I'm like, dude, you're living your best life. You are. Beach, cigar, good drink, good food, living your best life. I'm hoping these live streams are kind of taking off. I enjoy doing it. I mean, it's a little more for me to have to keep up with because I have to find something to talk about the whole time. That's why I kind of ramble around from one thing to the other. Because I can't just sit here and smoke and drink and stare at the camera. Got to find something to say. But at the same time, I want it to be something interesting, whether it's funny or serious or whatever. I keep reiterating what what I picked up from the stick and the spirit, because people have been dropping off and coming on, and I want everybody to kind of know, where we're at. Uh, so, but the podcast that allows me to kind of really focus on what I'm doing and you know put the best product out there. Hopefully one day I'll be able to do it like Joe Rogan style and just be able to come on and just start talking and not worried. I'd love to have some guests, do some interviews, talk to some people. I did Brandon Marsh, Big Sky Cigar, but it's been like a year ago. Uh, and I was like, all right, I want to do some more of these, and I haven't gotten it done. Now I know if I could nail down something like a interview with Rocky Patel, that'd be awesome. I'd love to have like 20 minutes to just let Rocky talk about cigars. That'd be great. I'd love it. That man, if you don't know that much about him, he's an attorney or was an attorney. I guess he's still licensed out in L.A. I think he was like celebrities and stuff like that. May not have been, but I know he was an attorney. Which we kind of have in common. I'm not an attorney, but I have a law degree. So there are people that will still call me an attorney, and I try and correct them. I'm not licensed. I have my law degree, but I don't need to be licensed to do the work I do. So don't call me that because it's against the law. And so that way I'm covering myself. But anyway, back to Rocky. Uh, he uh, he decided he wanted to get out of that business and get into the cigar business, and the rest is history. That was back in like the late 90s, mid to late 90s, something like that. And yeah, he made a name for himself. So I'm just sitting here smoking cigars and drinking whiskey and talking. Um, I can say that the stick really hasn't changed a whole lot. Um, but the flavors, as we're getting closer to the end, uh, they're getting a little more pronounced and rich and robust. Um, and are going very well with the spirit. Uh, I mean, I poured a couple of shots in that glass, and I can feel it a little bit. So the and I think we're about done. The moral to that story is be careful. So, all right, let's bring in the podcast folks. Hey, stoners, I am back. Uh, in conclusion, the Old Forester 1897 paired with the Drew Estate Nika Rustica. Uh, it is really one of those uh, experiences that I mean, you can't quite go to. It was an experience like no other, but it's getting right up there. Really good experience. Really good. Neither was overly complex. You go back and think about the flavor profiles that I've mentioned on each one with caramel and vanilla and some dark fruit that was the predominant flavor on the spirit, and uh, then your cashews and caramel on the stick, along with a little bit of spiciness and a little bit of oak in the retro inhale. It all kind of comes together. So even though neither one was overly complex, it was still what they offered was very good, and it went very good together. As you can tell, I've got this down to almost nothing, and I keep tending it. And as I said just a moment ago on the live stream, the folks on the podcast are just now catching up to the flavors on the stick. Really became more rich and more robust the closer we got to being finished. The cocoa kind of moved in the stick from a cocoa slash milk chocolate kind of area to more of a solid dark chocolate. A little more, and I won't say bitter in a bad way, a little more of a bitter chocolate. Uh, and the caramel kind of ramped up. Uh, and the 1897 could possibly be my favorite out of the three in the Whiskey Row series from Old Forester. Uh, it was very smooth to be a high proof offering, uh, and I think you should definitely pour yourself a glass, light a cigar, and give it a try. And I will reiterate that this is a 375, a half a fifth. Uh, I stumbled upon a little deal at local whiskey shop that it had the entire series in a box, three half fifths. So you got three 375 bottles. You got one 1910, one 1920, and one 1897. So you can try them all, and you don't have to invest in a full bottle. So if you can find that, and one place you might find it is Wooden Cork. Wooden Cork, that's where I've picked up several very hard to find whiskeys here lately, and they're going to be coming up in future episodes. Uh, So definitely be watching for that. But the bourbon, this 1897 was excellent. Um, the stick was equally good. I would give the Spirit an 88 Whiskey Stones out of 100, and I would give the stick an 88 Matchsticks out of 100. I think they were very well matched together, and they are individually they are very good. I've had several of the Nika Rustica Vitolas, and it's the same cigar, different Vitola. You may change the flavors a little bit, but they're great. It's one of Drew's best. Uh, but I haven't found anything I can complain about with any of Drew's stuff. So I hope you have enjoyed this pairing as much as I have enjoyed bringing it to you. Please leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought about this offering. If there's anything you'd like to see paired in the future, I am happy to oblige. Um, Please hit like, subscribe, share, notify. That way you not only know when new content is dropped, but you also are helping out by sharing this with people that you know that may not have stumbled upon me yet. So, and if you hit play on the podcast or on the YouTube, not necessarily YouTube, but on the live stream later, let it play all the way through, whether you're listening to it or not, let it play all the way. That helps us out. And you want to see more of this, I'm sure. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So, go to our website, sticksandstones.com, STICKSNSTONEZ.com. There you can find past episodes that you can listen to. You can also find the blog posts, which you might find very interesting because basically the stuff I talk about on the blog post is really not stuff that I talked about here. So you'll find all different kinds of things. I did a blog post on the Boston Tea Party. It has nothing to do with spirits and cigars. I find it interesting. Then I talk a little sports. I'm a big Texas A&M Aggie, and I'm raising up Texas A&M Aggies, and so I talk, a little college sports, especially some SEC stuff. So you might go and find some things. And I did a really great one on the death of the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is dying. It is. It's you can go read the blog post. Uh, Also, you will find links to all of our affiliates there. I mentioned one earlier, Freedom Fatigues. I love my Come and Take It shirt. I love my Colonial Flag Second Amendment shirt. I love everything I've gotten from Freedom Fatigues. Great quality. I love the patriotic themes. And they are a veteran-owned business. We need to support our veterans. Everything is made in the USA. So we need more stuff made in the USA. We definitely do. There's some stuff you have no choice. You got to get it from China, but not if we can make it in the USA. So Caliber Coffee, that's another veteran-owned business. I love Caliber Coffee. I used to own a coffee house, so I know a little bit about coffee. Um, True Classic Teas, Total Wine, which is where most of the spirits come from. If not from there, I get them from Wooden Cork. You can find links on the website. And Cigars International is where my cigars come from. I love Cigars International. I've been ordering from those guys for nearly 20 years. Uh, and Tip Top Proper Cocktails. That is go watch my video where I reviewed, they sent me samples of about a half a dozen of their cocktails. The cocktails are not the malt beverage you find in convenience stores. It's actually made with the real spirits. Margaritas made with tequila. The martinis are made with vodka or gin. And it's great that you can just come home. Yeah, I'd love to have a cocktail, but I don't feel like trying to mix all that up. You just pop the top, pour it in the glass. Can't be easier than that. And you can order it in a lot of states and get it shipped directly to your home. Talk to your Secretary of State if you can't get it in your state, because it is a deal between secretaries of state for the states as to whether you can ship alcohol into particular states. So I can get them here in Texas, and they are excellent. So Until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, stones cold, and have a great day. Keep your sticks dry, stones cold. Have a great day.